Welcome to the Matt Beck Podcast. Woke up this way. He's got a lot of cool stuff he's gonna show you today. The latest news, industry topics, and business tips. For all hairstylists and salon owners, it's time to flip the script. Grab your precision scissors, barber combs, and swivel twist razors. Let's cut a bob, a quick shag pixie cut with a little bit of flavor. Check out the live classes, product reviews, let's rock on. Don't forget to check out freesaloneducation.com. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way.
Here, yeah, there we go. What's up? Jess, you're awake. Good to see you guys. I'm gonna let you guys get loaded up in the chat, and then we'll get started. What's up, Vero? Hey, yo. What's up? Blanca. Rosany, good to see ya. It's Crack-a-lack in Detroit. What's up? Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. All right. Students are watching in Kentucky. What's up, Carrie? What's up, guys? All right, so here's what we're going to do on this fun Friday here, right? So what I want you guys to do is I want you to start posting in the chat. What do you want to see? Because I'm going to make this day all about you guys. I'm going to cut this mannequin. Obviously, we got fresh hair. Whatever cut you guys want to see, you let me know in the chat. Let's start with how long do we want the hair to be? So start posting that. Do you want it to be a long haircut? Do you want it to be a medium haircut? Or do you want it to be a short haircut? Let's not be wasteful. I'm just kidding. We can do whatever cut you guys want today. So long, medium, or short. Post that in the chat, and let's start there. This is going to be our little consultation together. All right, so Sharon's saying short, choppy, short bob. Okay. We got medium. I got a long. I got a medium. Got a medium. Karen says thin hair. All right. A few more votes for long. I wish I could do like a poll. That would be nice. All right, let's see. Medium, medium. Okay. Long to short mullet. That's not a bad one. That's fun. That would be a fun Friday, but we did mullets. We did mullets. I had a whole... Watch the Chris Barron show that we just did a couple days ago this week. And he did a ridiculous mullet. Super cool. All right, short, long, medium, choppy, long. All right, so. All right, I like all the ideas here, guys. Now, let's just say, for the sake of we're pretty tied between medium and long, that if we're gonna keep it long today, what do you want to see? Do you want to see face framing layers? Do you want to see a cut for thick hair or fine hair? And then do you want to see, let's see, thick hair, fine hair, or do you want to see something like super layer, like shag type feel to it? I mean, that's not really a long cut, but we could have some fun with it anyways. So long layered. All right, we can do layers, face framing layers. Jesse. Karen saying fine hair. Gotcha, Karen. All right. Blanca, long layers. Okay. Cut for thick hair. All right. All right. Cool. So obviously we can't please everyone. We can't take everyone's request. So let's see. Let's see here. Let me I'm going to share this out. Here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to hit the share button real quick. Share this class with everybody. Let's say We're going to share. Tell everybody that we're live so that they can join in this class, because we got to grow this thing, guys. We got to build this community. It's Friday. We're having a lot of fun here. Might as well have as many people on as we possibly can. All right, here we go. So I'm sharing. You share as well. I shared on pretty much everything, but I need to share on my Facebook. All right, cool. All right, guys, so here's the deal. We're going to start cutting some hair. I believe we're going to focus on a long layered haircut for thick hair today. I'm also going to throw in there, because a lot of you guys said fine as well. So let's talk about layering, and let's talk about it in a fine way, and we'll talk about it in a thick way so that we can kind of hit both sides. So as I cut this for thick hair, I will go over what I would do differently for fine hair, and then I think that'll fine-tune this class pretty well for you guys. We're going to do this start to finish, so hang in with me there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll obviously do the blow dry. We'll do everything. We'll go all the way through this whole cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by sectioning. Now, sectioning is so important when you're working with thick hair or fine hair, because you got to decide, you're really mapping out the haircut and figuring out what you're going to do with it. So as I go through and section it off, if I'm working with finer hair, most of the time I'm sectioning off the bottom, because I don't want to cut too much into that perimeter. What I mean by perimeter is this weakness, the weak side, or the length of the haircut, the outer line of the haircut. That I want it to be thick, bold, strong. I think the biggest difference between like looking at a haircut and saying that's a fresh looking haircut and one that looks like you didn't even cut it is those nice bold lines. So I've talked about this in the past. One of my favorite things to do with hair is really cut more precision shapes and then create texture that kind of in some part of the haircut. I don't like to do texture in all of the haircut or precision in all of the haircut. I like to combine the two things, because I think that kind of brings a life and a texture to haircutting that's really fun for me. So let me see. I could see your chat here. I think I got a little behind on there. So cool. It seems like everybody's on the same page. Super excited for today's class with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I'm a little bit later than normal, but we're doing this class every day. If this is your first time on this show or watching this show, type new in the chat so I can see you. We can say hi. We've also got some of our original kind of have been with us for the last 28 episodes now. They're in the chat. They'd love to say hi to you as well. Share your Instagram if you can, so we can all start following each other. And then also go download the Fse Now app, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Let's see. Now, if you have a question to ask during this class, all you have to do is, so Tamara, welcome. Glad to see you. Brandy, good to see you. Jeanette, good to see you. Samantha, all of you guys, awesome. Laura's on her second episode. Very cool. Type Q and then put your question in the chat so that I can see it. So just type Q, a capital Q, then put your question, and I'll be able to see it as it goes through. I can see you guys on YouTube, Facebook. We're also on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter. So we're kind of everywhere today. And being able to see you guys and see that question and be able to find your questions in the conversation makes it a lot easier. It makes the class go really smooth. So, all right, back to sectioning. So let me turn this Q for question off here. Very cool. Oh, whoops, turning myself on here. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna roll this too. All right, so as I comb the hair out, I'm gonna comb it and work and focus on a few different things in the head shape. Pretty much every single cut that I do, I section the hair this way. It's the reason I didn't want to pre-section it, because I really wanted to walk through it with you guys. Plus, I didn't know what cut you guys were going to request there. But so I go through, I comb the hair directly back. Now, here's the other question for you guys in the chat. Do you want to see a side parting, or do you want to see a center parting? So just write side or center in the chat so I can see that. And let me know as I comb this back. I'm going to watch for it. And basically, I'm going to take the first person suggestion here. So what do you guys want to see, a side parting or a center parting? There you go, side. Winner. Denise. Is it Dennis or Denise? I'm like the worst at reading names, but you've been here since the beginning, and I want to say your name, but I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Dennis or Denise, right? All right, so that's my my great education. I'm great at haircutting, not great at reading names. All right, so I'm not that great at haircutting either. But thank you guys for being here. All right, so side parting. So what we're going to do is we're going to work off of a left-hand side parting. So I'm going to take from about the mid eyebrow. You could obviously figure out where your guest kind of parts her hair by picking it up like this and then separating it. I'm just going to go edge of eyebrow because she doesn't have a standard parting here. So I go right there and I comb the hair over to separate the two sides. Now, here is where everything gets tricky, and we've talked about this many times, but some of you guys are new to this class. We're working with two different haircuts, right? So whether it's fine hair or thick hair, this side is going to be even thicker because all of this hair is over here. So if I slice her head at this point and separate the two pieces, and I hold one piece over here and one piece over here, this piece doesn't have as much hair, and this person has a lot of hair. So I'm going to cut this side more like it's a fine haircut, and I'm going to cut this side more like it's a thick haircut. And I'll talk about that more, but you have to understand that you're working with two different densities throughout the cut. And so you don't want to, like if I was going to layer it here on this side, I'm not going to do the exact same thing on this side because they're not the same head, right? It's also on a different curve. So we talk about the curves of the head, and as this curves over, this is more flat. Nowhere on this is flat, straight, horizontal, parallel to the floor, right? So all of this is going to be different. I'm not going to elevate it the same. Hope that makes sense. Did I get an answer on that? Let me see. Denise. That's right. Appreciate it. All right, cool. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure. Denise. All right. Very cool. So I got to get a little bit of music here in my ears. I don't like cutting hair in the quiet. I wish I could hear you guys talking. That'd be great. All right, so parting on the left-hand side. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better. Crank this up a bit. All right, so we've got our parting there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to work the hair. So I've got my parting all the way down back to that kind of mid-crown area. So this is the crown of the head here. So into that mid-crown. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start combing from the crown and pushing the hair this way. What that's going to do is get the hair moving in the direction that I'm going to take my next section, right? So I comb it around, and then when I've got a nice fluid flow to the hair, then I can take the point of my comb here. This is the YS Park 339 comb, available on our shop Fse, if you want a new comb. We have these new fun colors. So you use the tip of this comb, which is really great for sectioning, and I take it from the crown and I work around, and then I follow that parietal ridge area over to the edge. So that's going to be my next section. So now I can comb this up just like this. All right. Turn the head so you can see. So now we're unbalanced, but that's okay. That's what we want. So I comb this straight up in the air, and I'm going to twist it nice and tight. So it's important to have nice clean sections because that keeps me organized as I'm working. So I'll spend most of my time sectioning and then very little time actually cutting hair because I've already got it planned out so I don't get lost and I can work my way through it. So you can see there, so this is the part on her hair, and then this is our section off of it. So working with this differently here. So now this comes around to the crown. So I'll spin it so you can see, around to the crown, and then up the parting that way. So my next section is going to come right off of this line. So where we started to wrap it back around to the opposite side, what I'm going to do here is go straight down to behind the ear. And this is going to separate the front and the back. Now, key for this section is to make sure that this density here, I basically want this to touch. I want this hairline to connect. So I'll go straight down, take a little bit more of it. I want this to be a straight line back down to the nape of the neck. So from the crown to the nape, all the same, because this is the same density. This section here is also the same density, right? So I want to section those away. So I'm really just working with separating the key points of the head to help keep the density the same. Sorry, I'm chuckling, watching the chat a little bit. See if I can get better at looking at that. All right, so here is our next section there. And then I'm going to bring down the same thing on this side here. And remember, guys, if you have a question, just type Q and then put your question. Here it is. Jess has got a question, so does Samantha. So, question from Jess. Is there a trick to getting a perfectly straight, perfectly straight partings? It's one of my weaknesses, and one of my weakest skills. All right, so I'm going to show you guys a little trick to getting a good parting in the hair. So what I like to do, again, is comb the hair, get it going in the direction, exactly the direction that I want to take my section, right? So I come in here, just like this. I'll comb the hair in the direction I'm going to take that section, and that gets it all set up. So when I take the point of the scissor, and then look, I've got my finger under here of where I want it to hit, where I want to go to. So I come straight down, just like that, and I follow, and naturally I can feel where my finger is. And then when I bring it apart, I've got a nice, clean, clear parting and section. Does that make sense? So the most important thing, it's the same thing I did on the top, was I go through and I comb the hair, get it working in that direction first. Then I go through and take my parting. If I try to do it before, my comb's going to get tangled up and I'm not going to get the right parting. So, all right, so now we're going to twist this up. Nice and tight out of the way. And we're pretty much home free at this point. There you go. So that's our next section. So now we've got the front section away from the back, and now we're going to go into the back and start cutting our layers. Now, if somebody, let's just say that this client wants to have, she's got super thick hair. I think this is a pretty common thing. She's got super thick hair. She wants to have, she doesn't want super short layers. Does that make sense? So anybody can take thick hair, cut super short layers in it, and then there's no issues whatsoever with the haircut. What I want to show you guys is how to collapse some thick hair, but then at the same time, not have to cut super short layers throughout the entire thing, especially throughout the top, because in the top, you want that kind of flowy long layer in some of the cuts. So that's what we're going to do. Let me find Samantha's question as well so that I don't lose you guys here. All right. If you did a center part, would you make the U-shaped parting on the top of the head? Yes. So that would be the adjustment there. If she had a center part, I wouldn't base this haircut off of her parting. I would do that U from parietal to parietal to the back, and then just separate the two sides. That would be the only difference. All right, so now in the back, and I see your guys' other questions. I'll answer them as soon as I get this sectioned out so we can keep the flow going here. So I'm going to work a diagonal back line now. So notice I start combing the hair back, and I work the round of the head back to the occipital bone. Somebody gave me a hard time about pronouncing that wrong the other day. It's okay. I think they're actually in this chat. So let me know. Did I pronounce it right this time? Probably not. Okay. Now we're going to go up this way. So now I'll comb the hair up in this direction, just like that. and I'll take it from the occipital bone up. And now I've got my V shape in the back. I'll show you guys that in 1 sec. Check for balance. There we go. All right, so that's our sectioning. So a V shape in the back, just like that. Now I've got this interior that I can work with and we can start layering. And then I've got this top triangle that we can work on some of the crown layering. And then we've got our top, or our front and our top. So let me answer some of your questions real quick, and then we're gonna move on to the cutting portion of this. Let me see where we're at with some of these questions. All right, got that one. Sue, is it better to have a side or middle parting if you have fine hair? If you have fine hair, actually, let me not cut my face off here. All right, so Sue, if you have fine hair, I think it's better to have a middle parting, to be honest, because you're putting the same amount of density on each side of the hair, each side of the head. So I think when you have fine hair, it just makes the most sense. Otherwise, you're going to have a pretty weak side. There are also ways that you can cut hair to kind of help that out. There are products that you can use to kind of help that out. But for the most part, if you have a center parting, you're just going to be better off. It's going to be a lot easier for your clients to work with. That was a great question. So you would do 4 total sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Yes. Rosany, thanks so much. I'm glad that you learned that. Let's see. Do you prefer a certain mannequin? This is the Pivot Point Erica mannequin. I tend to really like this one because it's first off, Pivot Point mannequins are the best, I think. They're not the cheapest, but I love the ethics behind the company. There's a lot of, we've talked about this before, and I'll just sum it up real quick. Basically, there's some really terrible mannequin companies out there that sell mannequins super cheap, but they don't pay their workers barely anything, and they work them 24 hours a day for months at a time to pump out mannequins. So Pivot Point makes sure that they don't work in that way. So I just know that they're a great company. And they make great quality mannequins. These are every piece of hair is put in by hand by an artist that has been doing this for a long time. So that's why the hairlines are nice. Like, it's the most natural mannequin that I've worked with. So I really like Pivot Point. Let's see. May I get an appointment to have my hair cut? Here's the thing. So I get this question a lot. I don't take new clients at this moment. I'm not taking any clients at this moment, but I'm not taking new clients at this moment because I'm doing this every day and I'm creating content every day. So I just haven't been doing that. But maybe someday I'll open up my book again to new people. We'll see. Just make sure you keep following everything we're doing, and I'll let you know when that happens. Let's see. You Americans say occipital bone, so weird. Yes, so weird. It's just a bone. Let's see. It's very nice. If Paul Mitchell were alive today, you, sir, would make him very proud. You remind me of him. That's probably the biggest compliment ever. Thank you so much. All right, so I think we're good. Do you recommend the name brand of mannequin? Got it, Tamara. Pivot Point. My daughter wants short angle bob with layers, so the layers can be done before the base cut or after. I've seen it done both ways. I like to cut the layers first, then cut the base, which is what you're going to see in this cut today. So just kind of watch for that, because I'm going to explain it as I go through. So let's get started with that now. So I'm going to wet down. I want to keep even saturation on this cut at all times. Sometimes when the hair starts to dry up, it just creates it feels different. It has a different form to it. So I want to make sure that as I'm going through it, the tension stays the same. I mean, it's not that big of a deal in longer layer cuts, but it's just a good practice to do. Plus, it helps keep my sections nice and clean. Scissor choice today, I'm using the Mizutani. This is my edition of the scissor. We still have a few left on the shop. If you want to check it out, Shop Fse, you can see it on the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut my interior layers first. What I want to create with this is, and we'll do it just like this. And I'll probably zoom in a little bit so you guys can see better. Yeah, it's good. All right, so I'm going to take vertical sections throughout the back. I'm also going to pivot those sections because I want to take the most weight out of this center back here. So everything's going to come up. I'm going to cut concave layers to collapse the interior. We're talking about thick hair here. So I want to remove as much of the thickness of this hair as possible. And then this crown area is going to fall over the rest of it. So let me turn her a little bit. I take a vertical section out just like that. Now you'll know, those students that are watching out there, now the way that you cut concave layers, it's just a collapsed motion. So as I elevate the hair like this, I slide my elbow up just like this, pretty much parallel to the floor, and then I'll cut short to long. That creates extra length in the bottom, but removes a ton of weight, creates short layers on the interior. Now you could do that as a full haircut and create some really short, fun layers that's more shag-like, or you can do it the way that I'm doing it, which is just to remove weight and then have the length fall over the top. So we'll go through here. Also, you'll know that you're doing concave layers correctly because your elbow is free to move. If you're on the wrong side of the head, your elbow will want to go on top of the head, and you'll know that you're in the wrong spot. So stay standing in the back. Body position is going to be parallel. My shoulders are parallel to the section, right? So I'm standing here. Feet are shoulder width apart. I comb in just like this, elevate up like that, and then I cut short to long in the middle. Obviously no over direction at this point. I'm going to be taking a little bit off the length. Now, in school, they're going to tell you right now, this little knuckle here, you got one knuckle, you got two. Don't cut past the second one. They're probably going to say to you, don't cut past the second knuckle because you cut yourself. That's not a thing. I cut my first knuckle all the time, right? So you will cut yourself on all knuckles. Eventually, it happens. But the tension that is not in here, or the stretch that's happening, like look how tight the hair is here and how loose it is down here. When you're trying to cut precision hair and you hold it in your entire finger, you lose tension down here at the base. So you got to recomb the hair, and then I'll just relift it up to the same spot. Not much else to cut, but there is a little bit, so that's important to get in there. Now look at this little short. Yes, that's what we tell the students. Tamara, I know. I went to school. I know. And it's totally fine. Like a lot of the teachers out there might go, "Oh, I can't believe you just said that." It's fine. You can, like, it's okay to say it because it's what we were all taught our whole lives, right? And it is true. Like you could cut your second knuckle. It's just that the reason really is that the tension, you lose it. So I'm sure people didn't want to cut their second knuckle. I'm not really worried about cutting my hand. As long as you have good control of the scissor, you won't cut your fingers. Sometimes you slip up, sometimes you're talking too much, and it happens. But the majority of the time, I'm more focused on the fact that the tension is different. So look at the layering here. So nice short layers. Now I want to look at where are they falling, because I don't want to move on with this cut unless I'm confident with the where the layers are falling. So I want them to wrap kind of down and then come in a little bit, because then this hair is going to fall right over it. So I like this shape. I like what it's doing to the head shape. It also, if you get the right shape on the bottom, creates a really nice kind of elevate or lift to this top section here. So just going through and doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to pivot. So I go here. So I was vertical here. Now I'm going to take a slice right next to it. It's like she knew what I needed. Thank you very much. Tighten that up. All right, so now, just like that, elevation is up. That might have brought some questions in your mind of, should the guest tilt their head? And the answer is whatever makes you comfortable and more consistent. A lot of people, and this is being over-directed over the first section. So we're working on a stationary guide here. A lot of people worry so much about head being tilted and what that's going to do and how it's going to affect the haircut. For me, it doesn't really affect the haircut. What affects the haircut is if her head's like this and I'm like this with my body and I'm trying to go like this and pull it up. That makes me uncomfortable. And as soon as you're uncomfortable, you're going to be inconsistent. So if her head is tilt like this and now I'm just here, boom, and I'm comfortable, everything's good, I'm going to be more consistent in the cut. So that's really the key there. So now, pie shape section again, over, bring it over to me, over top of section 1. Just like that. Elevate my elbow. You could point cut this too, because I'm not really too worried about precision in this particular cut. Obviously, just bring it to the same spot every time. And again, working another section. So now we're just going to start pulling this all over here to the center back. There it is. Cool. All right, sweet. Do you always use clips while cutting? Yes. For the most part, I do. I know some people don't use clips. And I'm never a person that's going to look at what somebody else does and tell them that they don't do it right. I just like clips because they keep me organized, so I always do. But some people don't, and they're organized, and that's fine. If you're not organized and you struggle with keeping a guideline or knowing where you're at in a cut, then I would definitely switch to using clips. But otherwise, I mean, that's up to you for sure. A lot of people become successful, you know, doing things that other people don't do. Like, it's not, I don't think there's a reason to ever judge somebody for what they do as long as their results are good and they're not complaining about them. All right, I'm still working my way over here. Diane, thanks so much. Said she really enjoys watching these. I really enjoy doing them. Feeling a good flow today of this. This is our second, like, with this new studio setup. If you've watched any of the other classes, I do them at a desk, and I kind of break down video footage more, which I like those as well. I'm going to continue doing those, but I want to keep doing this as well. This is just more interactive for me. It feels a little more like an actual class, so I really like it. Freestyle Friday will definitely stay. All right. Very cool. So now, as I lift up the head, I'll move my black shirt out of the way. I get it. So now you can see these layers. Let me turn it. You can kind of see them. So you can see the layers, how they start off a little shorter and then they get longer towards the side. So that's really the key with what we're doing with the cut, is pushing weight over here to the side, right in here. So you can see layers, tons of them, but then gets a little bit longer towards the front. That's the goal. That's where we're going for. All right, so now, biggest difference in the back here as I work through it. Let's get some good vibes going. Biggest difference as I'm going through here cutting is I was pulling everything to me. Now I'm going to be pushing everything away from me. The reason for that is I take a new section, I pull the new section to the guide. I take a new section, I pull the new section to the guide. If I were to push this side, I'd be pushing the guide to the new section, and then that would create shorter hair than I wanted. So over here, I don't want to pull the guide into the new hair and then lift it up. I want to push the new hair into the guide to keep it consistent. So I'll grab my guide, just like that. Cool. And I'll take slight diagonal forward parting, and I'm lifting the hair up, and then there, right in the center back, is where I'm going to cut. Okay. Take a look. Keep that split over. So now I'm going to turn this so you guys can see the angle, but just understand that I keep taking these pie-shaped sections over and bringing them into the middle. And I'm using the wide teeth of the comb. I don't really need to use the fine teeth. That's more if I really need to control something, if I want to add a little extra tension to it, then I'll do that. You don't have to do that though. So Desi's asking, is this cut good for thick hair? This is what we're doing. We're doing a thick hair, long hair cut. So yes, so what we're doing is removing, so those of you guys that just tuned in, this is Facebook, right? Or YouTube. Some of you guys made it cam late. So we're taking out weight from the interior of the cut. And then we're gonna have longer exterior layers that lay over it. So really catering to those long, I'm gonna recomb this section. Not happy with that tension there. There we go. A little tighter. There it is. There it is. All right. So again, just keep moving through, over directing to that center back, just like that. Went past that second knuckle. So I recomb, come back up into it. There we go. Almost there. Name of the shears you're using today. So this is the Mizutani. This is the scissor that I designed with Mizutani, so it has my name on it. It's my handle design, what I really wanted. So it's the Matt Beck V1 scissor. It's on our shop. So if you go to our shop, shopfse.com, so like free salon education, shop FSE, you can get the combs, the clips, everything I'm using here, we sell on there. So you guys can go check it out. And I'll break those. This is the same scissor, it's just black. So we're just gonna keep the flow going. Hopefully I didn't ruin those. That was rough. Every single hairdresser just cringed. There we go. All right. So now what I'm going to do is once I finish that portion there, I'm worried about them. They're okay. Okay. So you can stop cringing. They're fine. All right. So here, now I just check the balance of both sides. Make sure that we're on the same page here. The layers look good. And once I know they look good, we can move on to the rest. Okay? Let me show you guys the back. Yeah, yikes. Oh, that's hilarious. You know, it's real life. If this was a YouTube video, I would have cut that out. You guys have never known it even happened. But this is reality, right? This is reality. Which cut is this? This is a long layered... Dude, our hearts just sank. This is a long layered cut for thick hair. It doesn't look long layered yet because we just took all these interior layers short. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to release this crown area. And when I release this crown area, it now puts long layers back into the cut, long hair back into the cut. So now we're going to disconnect those layers. It's just scissors. It's true. It is. All right, let me see if I can answer a couple questions before I move to the next section. Rita. Sorry, Rita. Trying to get it up here. There we go. Does the way of parting cooperate with the way you cut to a stationary guide? Sorry, that's the sound of me thinking. I'm not sure I understand your question. Does the way of parting... Oh, yeah. So, no, not in that, because I was over-directing it over to a vertical parting, and I was taking diagonal forward. So it was a little more over-direction as it came to the center back. So the center, I was cutting based off of my first vertical guide, if that makes sense. So vertical in the back, straight. But I was taking diagonal and then pulling it to that back in the center. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Hey, Shaker? That's sweet. Shaker will lead. Did I pronounce that right? Because that'd be a miracle. Sure, let's do it. Email me. If anybody knows how to make videos and wants to email me, because I don't know everybody, send me an email and we'll see what happens. Matt@freesaloneducation.com, or text me, actually. One of the best things you can do is text me. Here's my phone number. It's on the bottom there too, but text me. 215-608-2612 is my phone number. Text me and just say, hey, tell me it's Shaker, and you know, I talked to you on the show. Any of you guys, though, just text me right now and say hi, because then I have your contact info and I can text you whenever I do a live class, which would be super cool. All right, so let's see. Hera, how come and can't ask questions? You can ask questions. You just asked the question. Yes, you spelled it right, and we had Masterclass together. Ah, sweet. Okay. I think I know who you are. Okay, cool. So send me a text. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, so now we're going to work these longer layers throughout the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to saturate this down here. Let's see. Cool. So we'll saturate the back. Now it's going to be disconnected, guys, so obviously it's going to change things up. But think about the fact that all this hair, we just removed all that interior, but when you actually look at this cut, it's got long layers, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut short to long with the round of the head. I'm going to take a vertical section straight down. Let me turn so you can see her. So vertical section straight down the center back, just like that. I want to find where that previously cut section was. Let me turn it. Let me zoom it. Okay. So now I find where that previously cut section was, which is right under there. There you go. It's under there. So now I'm just aware of where it was, right? But what I really want is I want these layers to reach down to this point here. So I want to comb this entire section to get my guide. So in order to get my guide, so you can see that concave layer coming through there, real short to long. So now I want it to connect to that bottom layer. So I comb it out here, and that's where I start cutting just to get a guideline. Now I can let all that go. And now I'm going to layer up from this point. So right here, go through, and I'm going to follow the round of the head, just like this, throughout the cut, up. So just like that. So now that starts to create layering that really just makes sense with the rest of the cut. So now it's disconnected, but it's connected to the bottom. So it skips over the undercut and then falls to the bottom of the haircut. All right, so now this is going to be a traveling guide at this point. So traveling means that I'm going to take a little bit of the old, so the guide, and I'm going to grab a little bit of new and just pivot around the head. So here I can see, here's my guide, and I cut. So now it's easy because I already got that guideline. So the hardest part is getting that first initial guide, and then once you have that, you're good to go. Cool. The words on your videos is annoying. Sorry. Sorry about that. Let's see. Fse App, such a really nice app. Thanks so much. Really appreciate that. I think they mean logo. I think you're right. It's like, oh, it's in my face. I can't understand what you're doing. It's okay. It's all right. Here, I'll move my face. There we go. All better. All better. All right, so pivoting. Pivoting. Over here, I've got my guide. Like that. And I'm just working up the head shape, following that guide through. Little elevation. There you go. Grab a little bit of the old, pass it over, a little bit of new, bring it in, find your guide, and we're going straight up from where that section lives on the head. Thanks, Val. What a nice comment, Steve-O. Appreciate that. All right. Work my way up here. And then the last little bit. Callie, I see your question. Let me, I'll answer it in one sec, okay? Because I want to read the whole thing. All right, so straight up in the air, I find my guide, and I go through and cut. This is why it's really important, guys, to make sure that the density or the line from this section meets this hairline. If it went any further over, and I cut these short layers like this, in this part of the haircut where it starts to get smaller, that's where this would all get short. Does that make sense? So if I continued these short layers past this point where the hairline is, I would no longer have that outer perimeter that matched up. Does that make sense? So there you go. All right, cool. So there we go. Let me do this. Let's see. Okay, I'm not cutting the bottom though, so you don't have to worry about it. Those words, this is not what we're cutting. We're cutting up here in this part. Okay, so here is so far our layers. So you can see how they work throughout the haircut, how they're nice and balanced because we followed the round of the head. Now we're just going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Remember, it's going to be the same kind of transition. So I'm going to be, instead of pulling them towards me, which I did on this side, now I'm going to be pushing them away, but still traveling around the head shape, if that makes sense. Cool. All right. So now I take some of the center. For my guide, and then I pull, or I push. So there's no new hair there. So I'll cut that in half, push the rest over, and right here. There we go. And we just follow the head shape up. So how many of you guys that are watching are in the, oh, she has subtitles on. I got it, Jess, thanks. Thanks for clarifying. I don't know how to turn the subtitles off, guys. I don't turn those on. So if you can't see because of those words, there's got to be a way in your settings to turn them off, I think. So I apologize for that. All right, so go through and cutting. So those of you guys that are watching, who is back in the salon? Any of you guys? Have you started cutting hair again, coloring hair again? How has it been? All right, last section here. Click to the side. Yeah, thanks for helping her out, guys. Appreciate that. All right, cool. One more section left. Yeah, they do live subtitles. I don't know why, but I think if you click through to the video, you can turn them off for sure. But I don't turn them on, so it's got to be a way on your end to do it. All right. So Lily's saying, this is cool. It's good to hear. Good news. Where do you live, Lily? Oh, it's in Europe. Okay. Everything is like it was before. No limits, nothing. So good. I live in Estonia, Europe. That's so awesome to hear, to be honest, because everybody around the world is trying to like make sense of it all, and it's great to hear that somebody's back to normal and everything seems good. That's very hopeful. All right. Cutting fine hair, is it very different? It's very different because what we did was we collapsed the interior on this cut to create these layers, but on the inside we took out weight right here so that it would be nice and skinny. If I was working on fine hair, I could totally elevate, do layering on this, no interior takeout, and it would be the same look of the haircut. So that's the biggest difference. A lot of people don't realize that cutting fine hair is usually a pretty standard thing. Like you could see, when you look at the shape of this, what I love about this cut is that it's basically flat here with the layers. So there's a ton of movement, but instead of what it would do, it would expand out a ton because it's thick hair. It just lays sleek because the underneath is taken out. Fine hair would do this already just by layering it. So you wouldn't really have to worry about it too much. All right, cool. Johanna, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, cool. They called us back to work. They open tomorrow, but they won't let me back yet. Yeah, it's interesting. There's a ton of stuff. Your shirt, black hair is also black, cannot watch layers. I've said this before, so we're going to get good vibes here because you got to have some good vibes to answer this question. If I wear a white shirt, this class is not free. It's just the way it is. So if we're talking real, let's talk real. If you're going to get up on the internet in front of lots of people and you like don't feel super comfortable, sometimes it's good to wear black clothes. So I wear black clothes because I'm not super comfortable standing right here getting a full body shot of me. So I'm going to wear a black shirt. Watch my fingers because watch, they don't go away. As I lift the hair, just follow this angle right here on my fingers and you'll be fine. Maybe I'll make like a premium version where I wear all white and then I do haircuts on dark hair and then we'll sell that. And then I'll feel better about it. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Christina tells me all the time, but it's like, it's still, everybody has their thing. It's my thing. Right? So, all right. So we're going to move on. So this is our layering that we've worked throughout the back. Now what I want to do is I want to go into the sides and cut that, and then we'll do the top last. So I'm going to go in here. Just like this. It's so funny because I keep saying just like this or like that. And Christina's been watching this person on the internet, super popular, and she says just like this, like that all the time. And it reminds me of it every time I say it. All righty. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You're fine. Your method of speaking and teaching. I try to explain so much with my words, so I appreciate that. Don't mean to be the class creep, but I'm not. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. All right. I appreciate all those compliments. That's not why I said it, though. I just wanted you guys, we're fam. We're FSE fam here, right? So if I'm going to do these classes, I just got to own up to what it is. It is what it is. All right. So now we're going to work the fine side of this haircut. I sprayed her right in the face. Whoops. All right. So here is the sections that we're going to take. We're going to work diagonal back, and I'm going to create a face frame. A lot of you guys said you wanted to see a face frame, so we're going to do that. You'll be able to see it pretty well because there won't be anything in the way here. Let me move her right here like this. Cool. I think this is a good angle. All right, so I'm going to take a diagonal back parting. And I'm not worried about length here, guys. What I want to do is I really want to push some extra length over to the side to make sure that it stays nice and long. So instead of going parallel to this parting like this, what I'm going to do is over direct and shift my finger angle like that, right? So I comb it like this, and then I cut short to long, like that. Now, I'm doing this on the fine side of the head because I'm using low elevation. If I was on the heavy side, we're going to do different elevation. I just want to make sure that I have low elevation because it keeps weight. So face frame works the same. If I elevate it up here, I'm going to remove weight and layer it. If I hold it down here, then it keeps that weight on. Let's see. Here we go. Cutting. Just like that. Working diagonal back. Now, what's cool about this is as I comb and as I keep taking back further on the head, this is now traveling over here to get cut. So when it comes back, it's living over here and in layered form. So we're still getting layers throughout the front while creating this face frame, but keeping it nice and heavy because we're not elevating it, if that makes sense. Cool, cool, cool. When you take sections, it's like 1 inch section. Throughout this part and throughout this cut, my sections have been about 1 inch, I would say. Because this isn't a super precision haircut, I didn't have to take those thinner sections. And anytime I can save a little time, I mean, imagine if I took a 1/2 inch partings throughout this entire haircut in the salon, or I take 1 inch parting, I can get the haircut done twice as fast if I'm working with inch partings as opposed to 1/2 inch, because it's twice as much work if I do 1/2 inch. So that's really the reasoning for that. All right, so now you can see the layers pop. Well, you can't because it was blurry, but you can see the layers pop right here on the side, nice and full, nothing crazy, still long layers. And now we're going to create this similar layers on the side here. The way I'm going to do that, let me saturate this. This will be a fun shift for you guys to see what happens here. And this is going to be very similar to what we did in the interior part of this cut in the back. So what I want to do is collapse this side because this is now going to fall over it heavy, right? Would you use a razor to get a softer cut? Absolutely. That would have been kind of a fun thing to do, to be honest. But I chose scissor this time. But yeah, that would have been a fun way to go. All right, so now I'm elevating the hair straight up from the side here. And we're going to cut our line. Now, what I want to do is I want to see where this hits initially, because these layers in here, I want them to be the same over here. So I want to look at where do I want this piece to hit. And then once I figure that out, like I could just take this and slide into it a little bit so that I get a rough estimate of the guide. Now, I'll pop that back up and I'll say, okay, that's pretty good. That's fine. If it was a little bit long, then when I brought it back up here, I would just cut. I would go a little shorter than it was, if that makes sense. So I lift this up in the air. I go forward with it. Let me turn so you guys can see. I'm going to lock in the focus here. All right, so turn it so you can see. I'm going to go parallel to this parting here with my finger angle. So basically parallel to the forehead. I've got my guide from what I cut down there, and then I'm going to work across the top here and connect. So again, I'm just collapsing as I take all this hair here. Keep bringing it straight up. I'm collapsing the interior of this cut by layering it. And I'll show you guys what this looks like vertically, because we're obviously doing it slight diagonal forward here. I'll pick this section up vertical so you can see it. I think you'll be surprised at what the angle looks like. Some of you will be, not all of you, but some. Cross. And then the last little bit, shouldn't be much to cut here. So you can see I'm not really taking much of that length off. And now I'll comb it down, and you'll be able to see that we've also got nice layers on this side. So right in there. So haircut's getting layered nice. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to saturate the hair a little bit real quick, and I'm going to cut my perimeter length. I'm going to fly through that pretty quickly. A lot of us know how to cut a perimeter length, but I'll talk about it. But I do want to get that done because we still got to blow this thing dry. And I know some of you guys like hanging with me all day, but I don't even like hanging with myself all day, so try to get this done for you. All right, so I comb it down. There we go. And I see some of your questions, so I will answer those in 1 second. Let me get the perimeter cut, and then I'll go through the questions before I do the top. So I'll come down here, and obviously straight along her back, I'd start cutting my perimeter. Just like this. Yeah, that's good. So I'll cut it square in the back. And then I'll move to the sides and connect them. So now I'll straighten her head up, turn her, and I'm going to connect. So obviously shoulders are here. I'm not a big fan of the turn the head to cut it. Just a personal thing. I haven't thought about it enough to know whether I think it really works or not, but I like to just kind of use their shoulder. The shoulder's going to be there anyways, so I kind of use that to see how it's going to fall. And last little bit on this side. So this is really connecting those lengths. So the length that we cut in the front, it kind of came back. It was a little longer than what the back length was. So that connects it all together, makes it nice. All right, so let me see if we have some questions here. Let's see. What is perimeter line? So that's a good question to start. So the perimeter line is just the base of the haircut. So I say that a lot, and I didn't realize not too many people really know what perimeter line is. Perimeter line is the perimeter. The perimeter is like the outer edge. So when I look at the outer edge, that's the perimeter. Yes, yes, obviously you would do that for sure. Let's see. If the part's in the middle, then you cut the left side like both sides. Yes. So let's break down. If she had a center parting, because we're basing it off a left-hand side parting right now. If she had a center parting, then all of this would kind of go out the window, and we would do one or the other of these techniques, right? So she would have this U shape that did not match apart. It would be parallel, or it would be symmetrical, and it would be at the parietal ridge or the round of the head here. And then I would cut the underneath. If she had thick hair, I would cut the underneath just like I did this side, right? So I'd elevate everything up, cut it, get that face frame, and then let this fall over and do whatever I want with it. If she had fine hair, I'd cut both sides by wrapping it to the front, no elevation, and doing it that way. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds by doing it with the side parting, so you're seeing the whole thing. How to log into the Fse app. So, Fse app is, you go to Fse now or go to freesaloneducation.com. So let me see if I can do this since this isn't really bothering you guys. Go to Fse now and you can download the app. Just go to the App Store on iPhone or Android. It's free. All the education's on there for free, and it's also a community so you can build a profile, share your work. It's a very social media-like platform for hairdressers, so you guys can share all the stuff you're doing, and there's a ton of other benefits. I'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, cool. Someone tagged me in because they said my love for Mary Kay. All right. I'm not sure, Heather, but welcome to the show. Welcome. All right. Cool. Is it okay to part the hair in the center if the client uses a side part? I wouldn't. I mean, it depends. Like if the client wants to switch to a center parting, then yes, it's fine. But if they're going to wear it in the side, then you wouldn't want to cut it like a center because of what I said. So like a lot of people do cuts that they see and they just mimic them. But every cut should be based on what the client's going to do. So if they're wearing a side parting, you would cut it this way. But if they're wearing a center parting, you would cut it the other way that I said. If they have thick hair, you would cut it the way we did this side. If they have thin hair, then you would do it the way we did on this side. So you really have to customize it. That's what these classes are all about. Not about teaching you guys this exact haircut. I want to spend this entire time trying to tell you guys that every cut, every head is different. So that's why we break down techniques the way that we do. So try to really understand that as we go through it. 80-20 Barber, what's up? Good to see you. All right. I always end up with slightly longer layers on the left side. You know what? I mean, it depends on how you cut them, but here's why most people end up with longer stuff on one side or the other is because as we're cutting hair, as we're going through cutting hair, what happens is on this side, as I lift up my elbow, we talked about comfort. I pick it up here and my arm wants to go down, right? So no matter what, to get this kind of angle, I got to lift up here. So in reality, this is hard to do for a long period of time consistently. So what happens is my elbow, each section kind of slightly starts to drop. And then I end up here and I end up with a little bit longer side. Over here, it's a little bit easier because my elbow can drop and it makes it longer when my elbow drops. So now I get hair that's longer or layers that make sense. So this layer could be shorter, but more consistent throughout. When this, I want to drop, so it creates a totally different angle. Does that make sense? So that's probably why you end up with one side longer than the other, is just the consistency of your elbow. So try, when you cut hair, try to, if you're working on one side, try to go up. Like if you're working consistently this way, try to work your way around so that your elbow stays the same on both sides, as opposed to doing it this way and that way and going around it, if that makes sense. All right. Let's see. Love watching your beautiful hairstyle. Thanks so much. Thank you guys. I love all the nice words. I really appreciate it. All right, let's finish off this cut. So we're going to take down. So now we've layered the interior of this face frame here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let down the top section of hair. And I'm actually going to layer this as well. So what's going to happen is, turn her head. I'm going to comb this down. I'm going to cut this like it's a completely separate haircut. I'm going to use this piece as my guideline. Let me zoom in. Like that. Here it is. This is our zooming lesson for the day. If you put a comb up, you can focus. All right, so here we go. Got a piece. That's my guide. So now I'm going to grab diagonal forward partings. Got my guide piece, and I'm going to bring it over to me, just like this. And now, because I've layered this side and thinned it out, I don't care about my elevation as much over here. So I'm going to start cutting my line parallel to that, and I'm going to work my way through the top of this cut, which will start to layer the entire cut. So bringing everything over to me. I'm going to slightly shift my finger angle a bit now because I want to create a little more extreme layering over on the opposite side. Not layering, but weight. Push a little extra weight over there. Going across the top. Combing it down over the face. The reason I'm not pulling it all over at this point is because we've started working over the head. And now I'm working on hair that's literally going to fall over here. So what I want to do is just bring it straight down over the head so that I'm not over directing it too much, and then just kind of slide into it with the scissor just like that. Same thing here. Grab a little bit more hair. Not much more to cut. Just keep bringing hair over until you run out, until there's nothing left. So now I comb that over, and you're going to start to see it come into life. Da-da-da. I know, black shirt, black hair. I'm moving. Okay. So you can see the layering there. You bring the rest of this hair over here. So a ton of fun, full layers in this cut. You could do this much longer version if you wanted to. I'm going to go through, blow it dry real quick. But you can see the layers throughout the cut. Tons of movement in there. Super cool. All right. We're going to do a round brush blow dry. Don't do that often, but I want to do it for you guys today. So I'm going to share that with you guys. A couple brushes I'm going to pick are, and products I'm going to pick. Got that. Does that work? Yep, good. A little bit of hairspray. Yep. All right. So, got my product choices here. I'm going to be using the Joico Joy Whip. This is a level 7 hold, so it's got a pretty good hold to it. Foams up really nice. You don't need a ton of it. So I put out just a little bit, and it starts to grow. So you don't need a ton. It's got a really nice hold. Pretty sure I said that already. Beautiful cut. Thanks, Barbara. Appreciate that. Do you cross-check that? If so, how do you do it? So I cross-check a lot of my shorter cuts. I don't really cross-check my longer cuts that much, but I did cross-check in the back when I did the internal layering. I've just held the pieces out horizontally. What I had done is went through and cut it. I went through and cut it vertically, so I held it out horizontally just to check my lengths and weight. These are so different and I don't really, as long as you pulled everything over here, there's really nothing to cross-check in the front. Everything else was kind of over-directed to a stationary guide. And when everything's pulled to a stationary guide, I don't really tend to cross-check too much. It's pretty easy to nail a stationary guide. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to blow dry. Yes, this is a Dyson blow dryer. There'll be a lot of questions. Dyson blow dryer. I'm going to start my blow dry by just air drying, getting some volume at the root. I don't really tend to put a round brush in the hair till I'm about 80% dry, because otherwise it's too much work. And I like in the salon to work efficient and fast. I feel like that's how we kind of make our money. So, Peggy, thanks so much. Isabel, thank you. Teresa, short A-line. We'll do that for sure. I'm going to do that probably next week. It'll be fun. I'm really digging these live classes, I think. What do you guys think? You like them? Some of you, the OG FSE people in the chat, do you like this better than the desk sitting classes? What do you think? I feel like this one's definitely better than yesterday. I feel more interactive with you guys. I feel more comfortable just with the flow of the show. So let me know. All right, so working some of that, trying to get it about 80% dry, then I'll go in with the round brush. All right, Snowden, respect, I appreciate it. I love both ways. All right, Rosny, I appreciate that too. I'm loving this. I feel connect. Good. Your classes are awesome. Thanks, Tracy. Sweet. Who's been watching the whole time? Post that in the chat. I want to see who. Love your ideas. Thank you. I love watching you do the cut live. Yeah, I like doing it live too. It's fun, and I feel like we get through, like I can break things down even better, which is really nice. Cool. All right, so we're about there. Doesn't take long. Then, so once I get to that point, what I'll do is I'll take my Ergo paddle brush and I'll just smooth the hair a tiny bit, but lift it so I don't lose the volume in the hair. But I just want to polish out the cuticle a little bit, because when you do an air dry, it tends to have a little bit more volume. So now, and a little bit more of kind of a messy cuticle, more wind blown, I guess you could say. So we'll go through, polish it out with the paddle brush. If you guys need brushes, I'm telling you, like, for sure, Ergo brushes are like the best. So all the brushes I sell on the site, I don't sell anything on the site that I don't use every day in the salon. And the Ergo brushes are phenomenal. So there's this polishing paddle brush, and then I have my mini paddle brush, which I showed you guys yesterday. That one's my favorite. But for long hair, I like using this this paddle brush for just working more hair at a time. Carol, I'm super jealous. Wait, look at Carol's comment. This is my favorite. YouTube can see it. Started watching midway, now I'm walking my dog on the beach, still watching. Jealous? Want to be on the beach? Wish I was there walking the dog, chilling. But hey, glad that you can watch the class. That's the amazing thing about technology nowadays. You can literally be taking a haircutting class, but still enjoying the beach. Can't seem to find your Ergo brushes on the site. Laura, they're definitely there. Just look for all the brushes. So it'll say, like, when you click brushes, it'll have numbers. So like the one, now I'm going to go into the round brush. So when you go on the site, like this is the Ergo ER43CI, which is what number you'll see. I don't know if that, I think we're in, yeah, we're in manual. So, see, yeah, here you go. Oh, look at that. So, ER43CI. So, that brush, that's what you'll look up under that. Sorry, Steve-O. It's no good when the network's no good. So Isabel, I don't know if you're new here, but this is all about questions. So questions are the lesson. Questions are part of what this is all about. So if it's frustrating, it's fine, but I'm going to take questions for sure. We're about building a community and talking to each other and hanging out, and not just a quick cutting lesson. It's about learning the whole thing. So sorry you're frustrated with the questions, but we're going to keep taking questions, and I encourage everybody to ask questions because that's what it's all about. I'd rather build, a smaller community than try to just hurry through a lesson, for sure. All right, so now we're going to go in. This is the Joico Thermal Protectant Spray. I'm going to spray that throughout the hair now that we've got it pretty much 80% dry, 85% dry, because now is when it can be really heat damage. So I want to make sure that I counteract that. I'm also going to section off the top. Hopefully that doesn't fall. So I'll work that through. Yeah, guys, if you have a question, just put Q in front of your question. So this is what it looks like. I think, where's Q for question? There it is. So just put Q and then your question in the chat, because then I can see it easily. All right. So I'm just going to work around the crown area. I'll do the crown last, and I'll section off the rest here. And we're going to do a little bit of dry cutting at the end because some of these pieces, we got a little disconnection. I want to work into that as well. Section off the crown. And now I'm going to go in with the blow dryer. Yeah, I'll zoom in on the blow dry now. Here we go. All right, so I want to work around the face, and then I'm going to work my way back on the blow dry as we go. So here is, comb that back. So I'm just going to work. This is going to be very salon-like as I do this round brush because I'm not going to clip it all out and all that. So embrace the mess. So I'm going to blow dry back and out. I got you, Isabel. I see your comment. Yeah, obviously we don't want those comments, but those aren't really questions. Those are just comments. But I like to acknowledge them. Try to get people to understand. Only human. Let's get some blow dry tunes going. I got to get better music. Oh, not better music. I just got to get more music. Thank you, Epidemic Sound, for the soundtrack. All right. Yeah, Dina. I feel like I'm in like a workout class with the music, and I'm actually exhausted from lifting my arms. I'm not a round brusher. I'm like, come on, guys, let's keep this going. Push yourself. That's what I'm saying in my head. Let it cool. All right, this is the cool down. Just kidding. All right, let's do this side here. Now I'm going to take this piece. So I'm going to take this piece real quick, and I'm going to over direct it. So this is where it's going to flip and go this way. This is a great tip for somebody that wants to create volume in their fringe. And it's not necessarily even just hairdressers that want to do this, but people at home and just doing their hair. If you want volume, round brush it the opposite direction that you want to wear it. So when you round brush it this way, let it cool, it'll kick and flip out. So here we go. There we go. So I go over it a couple extra times because I'm trying to push the smoothness of that cuticle down, create that shine. But notice when I put the blow dryer to the brush, I'm not going flat on it because I don't want to rough up the cuticle. I'm letting the air flow over the cuticle, create that shine. So let's let it set. There we go. Now watch, we let it cool. That was probably super blurry. I can see it already. Apologize for that. So now I let it go, and you'll see volume. It starts to create, and it flip. It just flips the hair over. I'll spray it and everything, but you start to see that happening. Same thing over here. I'm going to blow dry it out. Oh, that's silly. Here we go. So somebody was asking, can we download this? You can, if you get the Fse Now app, which is available worldwide, you can download. All of these classes are on there. Individual videos are on there, all for free. All over the world, you can download it. So blow drying this section off of the face. Almost there. Just really making sure that I get everything up in the air and nice and polished with the brush. Again, this is the Ergo 43 brush. Thanks, Dina. Appreciate that. All of your guys' questions I will answer at the end of the class. At this point, we're going to get to the end. I'm going to do a tiny bit of dry cutting into this shape when I'm done. And then I'll do a Q&A with you guys. So if you have a question, type Q and then put your question in, and I'll go through the list at the end. Thanks for hanging in, guys. Thanks for going through this blow dry with me. What's up? I wonder how you pronounce that name. Paint? On YouTube. Thank you. The sound of blowing air. That looks lovely in the back. Thanks. It's getting there. It's coming together here. But you can see how the layers that we cut really still fall nice because they are blended to each other. There's just a disconnection in the very center. So you still get a nice effect. Like you could still do this even though it's a disconnection. You could do it on anybody. It's not an avant-garde, look or anything, or out of the box look. It's adapting a technique that is out of the box and adapting it to real life, real scenario, which is one of my favorite things. Blow dry this down here. Oh, so I will answer this question. So Jess is asking if it's annoying to not scoop the hair up. I don't really do a nozzle scoop. I love this blow dryer. I'd hate the price, but I love the blow dryer because I like, just like, you know what I mean, like being able to hold it like this in my hand. I'm not a handle blow dryer that much, so I just like holding it in the back like this. And it's nice and lightweight, which I like as well. So I don't really have any issues with this blow dryer. I had one break. They sent me a brand new one right away. So I didn't have any issues with that either. So overall, I think Dyson's done a pretty good job in that way. I do think it's a little expensive, but everything Dyson is expensive. So as long as customer service is there, I think it's all good. All right, last little bit underneath here, and then we'll do the crown. Cool. All right, swing her around. Take the crown out. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. All right, so the last little bit that we're going to do is just this crown area. It's already got quite a bit of volume in it because it's been sitting up there. So now this is where you're going to see some of that disconnection. It's all because of that face frame that we created earlier. It's falling over those layers. So I'll blow dry some of that, but we're going to cut into it. That doesn't happen in real life. Yeah, Jess, don't pay $700 for it. Not worth that. Not worth that. Me and Christina were just talking the other day because we have a lot of Dyson products. Like we had a Dyson vacuum here at the salon. We have a Dyson cordless vacuum at our house, and then we have a Dyson corded vacuum at our house. And 2 of those 3 products don't work anymore. We had them for 3 years. So that part, and now they're out of warranty. So that part, you buy expensive things, but they don't, they don't last forever. I agree, Barbara. I agree. All right. So last section, I'm just working back, but actually on this last piece, I'm going to work forward. So I was working back, but now I want to pop a little extra volume in the front here. So this is going to come towards me, slightly over to the side a bit, because I want that volume to kick back and over the other way. So anytime I want volume in one direction, I blow dry it the opposite. Just like that. Ooh. That blow dry really warmed things up in here. definitely warm things up. All right, here we go. See. Okay. So now I'm gonna brush some of this out just a little bit. Tons of volume in there. All right, so now I'm gonna go in. Actually, let's see. I'm gonna use. We'll use scissors here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna go in and just take out some of this weight that's in the back. So you'll see a couple disconnected pieces. So I'm gonna cut into those. Raise it up. Make sure we're in focus here. Okay. So now I'm just gonna grab a couple of these pieces and kind of freehand, half open, half closed. It's a tease cutting technique. I do it a lot. So those of you guys that have followed for a while, you know. But I want to go in and this is creating very soft broken lines in a cut, but it removes weight really nice. So anytime you want to just remove a little bit of weight from some layering, it's a half open. So you're here and you half close in and then open back out. Half close in, open back out. And I just pinch this really hard in my hand so it doesn't go anywhere. And then just place my thumb slightly into the blade and then half close in and come back out. A little bit here. Just cutting into that. I love kind of how some of the layers are flipping out. It looks really cool. Finish up some of these pieces. Sweet. And that's pretty much it. That blends it in nice. If I felt like she was thick anywhere else, then I would go through and do some more, but I think we're all good here. So now I'm gonna go in with Joico Joy Mist. This is a little bit stronger hold. This is a level 6 hold here, just to set my style in. There we go. The volume back here. It's the only part that's driving me. Let me hit this with a blow dryer a little bit. Use the heat, kick a little bit of extra volume and direction. Thanks, Kathy. All right. Oh, that's a funny look. Extra volume. Sometimes you can't see things till they're in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So, like, look at all the layers and how that moves. And this is the fine side. This is the heavy. You know, we cut this a little heavier, so you can see that. And then just see that volume that builds up. That's because of the underneath that we the foundation that we built into it. And then when you see, come over to the heavier side, it still has a balance. Like when you look at her straight on, you know, it's got a nice balance to it, even though the two sides are cut completely different. The layers have that movement and that shape comes out and then back in. And we cut them differently. So it's really just playing with the density of the hair that really helps, helps like get that end result. Helps kind of make everything work and happen. All right, let's see. So Rachel 2020, kind of, I guess you could say that. Definitely resembles it a little bit. All right, let me bring in my tray. I feel like a doctor. Not a doctor, but like, you know, the person that checks you in. All right, so Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed that, you know, the class and everything. If you have any questions about anything, just post them up there. Let's see what you guys have. I do see, is that like a long shag? So I'm working my way up and then I'll come back down. So Kathy, it's not a long shag. I mean, I feel like shag is a loose term at this point in our industry because there's so many videos that are out there that are called a shag. Shag to me is right on the verge of a mullet, right? So a long shag kind of at that point becomes just a layered haircut. So I think this is just a really nice basic layered haircut for thick hair. That's how I would describe it. That's what I would say it was. So I hope that makes sense for you. Let's see. Lots of movement in the style. Looks great. Thank you, Barbara. Really appreciate that. Kathy, thank you. Can you use a razor for the dry layering? If it's a brand new blade, then I would say yes, but I would just go in with your scissor and do it. I would do you could do this whole cut with a razor. That would be kind of cool. Definitely wouldn't say that's a bad idea. Let's see. Whew, it's getting warm in here. It's this black sweatshirt. Thinking, why don't you blow dry on the mid roots? Why don't you blow on the mid roots? I'm not sure on that one. All right, I think that's it. This was awesome. All right, Kathy, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I mean, the Rachel cut. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very close to the Rachel cut. So very, very cool. Here's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to go download the FSE Now app. You can see tons of these classes, and I'll be back Monday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. This is the app. Go check it out, guys. So what do you guys think? Go download the app. It's available all across the world, so you can do that. If there's any tools that you liked in this class, a great way to support free salon education is to buy tools from us. I know some of you guys can't if you're outside the U.S., but we're working on that. We'll figure it out. But if you're in the U.S. and you want a carving comb or clips or ergo brushes, go to shopfse.com. You can see it right there. Oh, it's going that way. And download our app on iPhone and Android. Just look up FSE Now. I'd love to see your work in the community. And that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Looks like everybody seems happy. So enjoy your weekend. Can't wait to be back with you guys on Monday. What do we say at the end of the day, at the end of the show? It's going to be a great day. Enjoy it.
It's gonna be a great day.
I'll see you guys next time.
Flip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, flip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you the way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, flip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it,